Alright, hello. Chainsaw Man chapter 150 just dropped, and we are going to go over it. So first the city that Denji and Nayuta are in. They don't seem to be very affected by the ongoing Chainsaw Man epidemic because their whole world is already pretty messed up to begin with. They're used to people like dying left and right from devil attacks. So this really isn't any different from any other day, just more of it happening. Because the citizens of Chainsaw Man, they're like already desensitized to the violence. So they don't really care. But Denji and Nayuta, they run through some alleys to go back home to see their pets. And Denji is he's happy right now. He's with Nayuta, he's running away from the public safety sector people. He's free, he's happy. But then he steps on a dead crow and then he dreams of Pochita, who asked him about his dreams again and if he is happy. And we'll cover this a bit later about the theme of Denji's dream. But Denji reaffirms that he wants to be Chainsaw Man still. And but this pretty sweet moment is interrupted by Denji's house on fire. And there is Barum standing there like he didn't do anything. So Denji runs towards his house to save his pets, but then Barum trips him like a school bully. And is just a general unpleasant person to be around. But this is pretty significant and probably the most. I would even say it's like the first big death of part two because the dogs and the cat are Denji's last remnants of like his past from part one. And it's like his last bit of ties to power, and to a lesser extent, Makima as well. And it's also kind of like a blow for us, the readers, because this apartment, the pets, and all of that are from part one. But anyways, Barum is standing over him, taunting him, Denji, and like goading him to turn into Chainsaw Man, Chainsaw Man. He has a chin. But anyways, he's taunting him to pull the trigger, and Denji, who is enraged, he's about to do that. But Fumiko shows up with her teammates and just started shooting Baron. Because that's what the police do. Fumiko mentioned that Baron's molar is like his devil activation trigger, and we see this prior. So they shoot Baron a couple of times, but the whip woman shows up behind them and just smacks him around. Fumiko seems to have not gotten hurt by that, but we don't really know yet. And that's the end of the chapter. Ba, 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 ba. So overall, kind of a short chapter, but some progress and emotional significance to this. Da, da, da. So let's see, what do we have to go over? So we are coming back to the theme of the hedonic treadmill that's throughout the series. So the idea of the hedonic treadmill is that you strive for something, right? You have a goal. And once you obtain that goal, you achieve that goal, you kind of experience a small high of happiness, a small, increase of happiness. But then after a while, you get used to that happiness and then you are reset to your default state. And then you want more happiness in a different goal. So, in theory, according to this, there's no end to your desires. Once you achieve what you want, you just want more and more. And that's kind of what Pochita was asking Denji. And this is also a the idea of part one, in that Denji, he achieved a lot of what he said he wanted in chapter one, but they weren't really enough for him, right? Because once he got like what he wanted, he just wanted more of it. But Pochita is talking to Denji like is about girls and about money. But that's not what really Denji wants. Denji, he's moved on beyond just the material gains and, safety. He wants more metaphysical things for himself. And this is what the chapter is alluding to. The title of the chapter, Dream's Next Stage. That's the name. And here is the psychology hierarchy of needs in theory. I'm trying to remember who came up with this. I think it was shoo. I think it was the guy that did the dogs conditioning. But don't quote me on that. But anyways, the idea of the hierarchy of needs is that once you take care of like the stuff you need for physical safety and the stuff required for living, you start to go towards the psychological needs more. So, like in the beginning of the series, Denji was starving, he was missing body parts, he was, fighting for his life on a daily basis, and now we have him not needing to do that anymore. So he's focusing more on love, and which he has in Nayuta and his pets. And we're moving on to self-esteem and self-identity, which is what Denji wants to be Chainsaw Man for. Because when he is Chainsaw Man, that's where his self-esteem and respect, and that's who he wants to be. That's the person he imagines himself to be in his head. So this is the part I really enjoyed about this chapter. And that's actually like what I cover in the video I'm working on, which was supposed to be released a while ago, but I am lazy. But yeah, that's something I'll elaborate more on in future videos. We also have a common theme of dead animals this chapter, right? Because Denji, he steps on the crow, he sees Pochita, and then the rest of his pets are burnt to death. So I think this is more of a sign that the story's going to move forward like really fast. Or a lot of readers that are they do critique part two for being slow, and I think this is where it's going to start not being slow. Because, Denji's life is destroyed and he's going to be forced into doing more stuff, I would imagine. The status quo is like being broken right now for Denji. So But we'll see, we'll see. Hmm. So predictions for the immediate future. I still don't think Denji's gonna turn into Chainsaw Man, even though the situation kind of demands it. I think part two is working really hard to stop Denji from becoming Chainsaw Man like that. Because in my eye video, I kind of skimmed over that like Denji's gonna be, Denji's like a Jesus metaphor or whatever. So I still don't think Denji's gonna turn until pretty pretty late into part two. But we could be wrong because I just said that like the story's going to take a big turn from here. So I don't know. But yeah, I don't think Denji's gonna turn this early. Fumiko, I think she might be in danger because she's been in a couple of life-threatening experiences in a row, and she came out unscathed through most of that. And I don't really see her. I don't know. I feel like if Fujimoto's gonna kill her, it might be now. Because Fujimoto does have a tendency of like killing characters once they like immediately after they serve their narrative purpose, right? Like Himeno and couldn't think of another example. And like all the people in the drinking party, like they were introduced, they said like, hey, this is this character, this is what they mean to this other character, and then they die. um but while Denji, I don't think Denji's gonna do anything. Nayuta, there's nothing stopping her. So I think she's probably gonna start like shooting chains at Barum or something similar. And then this is a wild one. I think Nayuta might get kidnapped to move the story along. Because as of now, Nayuta, she's powerful. She's kind of she. I imagine she could be like a crutch for Denji story wise. So to move the story along, I think she might be kidnapped to take her out of the story temporarily. I don't want that to happen because I feel like part two hasn't done that deep of a job in terms of developing Denji and Nayuta's relationship, which is what I want more of. So personally, I don't want that to happen. I think it might, but but yeah, that's kind of where I see the immediate future going. It's kind of weird though, because Nayuta getting kidnapped isn't really because it doesn't really line up with Denji not turning into Chainsaw Man. Because Barum wants him to turn too. So if he kidnaps her, like logically, the first thing he would do is like force him to turn. Because we're in a weird spot where like pretty much most in-universe characters present want Denji to turn. Like it's pretty much only Fumiko and Yoshida that doesn't want that. But otherwise, everyone else wants that. Denji wants it. Baron wants it, and I think that's about it. But most of the important characters wants it, but the story really doesn't want it. So we're at a weird point where Fujimoto has to keep writing like excuses for him to not turn. But yeah. Let's see. I think this chapter was designed to help Denji let go of his dreams of a peaceful life and force him into a life of being Chainsaw Man. hmm Yeah, the thing is like he doesn't really like not want to be Chainsaw Man, right? It's Yoshida and Fumiko and the rest of the public safety sector that's kind of forcing him into doing that. So it's not really a conflict with himself about, you know, this identity. It's like external factors that's forcing him to do that. So I think it's more about what we went over earlier with the hedonic treadmill rather than like you know, Denji's internal conflict. It's like he knows what he wants, but external factors are preventing him from doing some of that. So, mm, but yeah, he could just turn into Chainsaw Man again very soon because his the crutches preventing him from doing so is getting removed, right? Because if we remember, like previously, he didn't turn because Yoshida kind of softly threatened him with his family and pets. So now that half of that is gone, he may have less of a reason to follow what Yoshida told him to do. But anyways, that's about it for the chapter. We have another break this week or next week. So next chapter comes 2 weeks from now. And we're having a lot of breaks lately, but it's not all bad because there've been some complaints about Fujimoto's art as of late, and some readers are like he should take more breaks, and that's what he's doing. So good for him. But yeah, that's the end of this chapter review discussion. I'll see y'all 2 weeks from now.